Look at all them juices coming out.
Oh, yeah.
Welcome to 𝐨𝐬𝐝𝐿 Outdoors. Today I'm going to be making some brisket. This one is a little north of 5 pounds. So we're just going to use Worcestershire as our binder. And then today I have some pork barrel barbecue all-American seasoning rub. So continuing that theme of America, we got a little dish here, or platter, with stars and stripes. So anyway, the first thing we want to do is cut off any fat that's not going to render, any hard cap. On this, most of it will, although there are a couple spots that won't. So let's bring you in for that. This is all soft, this is hard here, and this is a little hard here. This brisket I'm making here is a choice brisket. There's select, choice, and prime. Of course, your prime is your highest quality. It has the most fat, the most marbling. So in theory, it's going to be the tastiest because that fat is flavor. Choice is somewhere in the middle. It's got a little more fat, whereas select is a little bit more of a lean cut. I don't want to get too mundane with this video, but I do want to illustrate what I'm doing here to those that maybe haven't cooked a lot of brisket. Essentially all I'm doing is I'm cutting off that hard fat that's on the brisket. Now, not all this fat is hard. It's just in certain spots. That fat, when you cook it, it's not going to render. So it's not going to be an appetizing brisket if you leave all that on. Now, I know in the past they used to leave all the fat on and then just cut it off afterwards, but you don't get a lot of that smoke flavor doing it that way. So in recent years, they've kind of switched to cutting off some of that fat before you cook it. So I advise you, I've cooked brisket that was really lean, cut all of it off. The problem with that is it dries out. So I personally like having a little bit more fat on there because the meat is juicier. But you know, you can experiment with how you make your brisket, figure out what you like the most. Some don't like a lot of fat, so just leave a little bit on there, trim off all the hard fat, leave a little bit on there, and see how you like it. Alright, so next we're going with our Worcestershire sauce. Again, we'll just coat that as a binder for our rub. You can also use olive oil or mustard. For beef though, I kind of like the Worcestershire. Alright, and then here is our pork barrel barbecue rub. So we've got this coated in our barbecue rub. I'm gonna let this sit in the fridge about an hour. You can go maybe 30 minutes to 2 hours, or even overnight if you want. But so after that, I'm gonna fire up the pit barrel cooker and throw this on. So our coals are getting there, not quite all the way ashed over, but we can dump them. we're gonna let that heat up for about 10-15 minutes, and then we'll hang our meat, hang our brisket. So 3 hours into this cook, it's at 166. I'm a little bit pressed for time today, so I'm going to wrap it. Normally I don't wrap. I just like the bark that it gives you when you don't wrap with a pip arrow. But you can go either way, whichever you prefer. So another hour and 15 minutes on the pit after wrapping, and it's done. So my desired temperature with this is 205 degrees. So I'm probing it in different spots just to make sure we're at 205, and we are. It's gliding through this brisket real nice. So that's when I know it's time to pull. So I'm going to put it in this cooler here, put some dish towels in there, let it sit for ideally 2 hours, but for this one I'm going to do an hour. Alright, so we had a cook time of about 4.5 hours on this. And when I pulled it out of the foil, you can definitely smell the rub with it. So I'm dying to cut into this and see what it tastes like. Hot, but here you can see, wow, real hot. You see it's got a decent smoke ring. It's not the biggest smoke ring I ever had, but yeah, we'll see how it tastes and how it pulls. So you can see it's moist. That's fantastic. That rub really comes out. It's kind of a little bit of a salty rub. Wow. That's really good. Really, really good. So let's finish cutting this up. You know what? We'll cut a little piece here and see how that bark is. That's my favorite part. The part with bark. You can hear those juices. Look at all them juices coming out.
Oh, yeah.
All right, so that turned out awesome. One thing I do suggest, you got this extra broth, in other words, or whatnot. I would save that. If you ever do reheat it, it's good to throw some of this on there, keep that moisture, but that's what I like to do anyway. All right, got my little buddy here. I'm gonna give her a try. Oh, you want me to? What do you think? It's really good, huh? Well, you don't have to bend down. I was just getting in the camera. You think it's really good? I like it too. Really tender, and that rub really stands out with it. It's got a little bit of salt, but I can taste some cayenne in it too. But I really like it. You like it too, huh? So there you have it. Easy, quick brisket cook. It took about 4.5 hours, and you know, hour or two of resting.
You want to try more?
You want to try some more? Hour or two of resting, and turned out really good. So thank you all for watching. If you haven't already subscribed, please do so. And if you're new, drop a comment below. Thanks a lot.